So I have a confession to make. I like Taylor Swift. I mean, she's no Carly Rae Jepsen, but her music is really catchy and really soothing when you're going through a breakup. However, I'm sick and tired of reading articles that miss what's actually wrong with her. I'm not talking about articles that argue that her music is simply not particularly good. We all have different tastes and some of us are just wrong. Or ones weighing the pros and cons of Swift removing her music from streaming services such as Spotify. I'm talking about articles that try to argue that there's something morally flawed about Swift. Not that there isn't something wrong, they just tend to point to the wrong thing. Like, for example, that she has so many ex-boyfriends. What? Like, seriously, what? She writes breakup songs like literally any other pop star ever. It just... What's really interesting is people who make that argument while simultaneously making the argument that she slut-shames, which holds up a lot better. The song Better Than Revenge includes the line, "She's an actress, but she's better known for things she does on a mattress." You Belong With Me seems to look down on the fact that she wears short skirts. And 15's line, "Abigail gave everything to a boy who changed his mind," implies a high value on virginity. However, all of this can be brushed away with, this is before Taylor Swift became a feminist. She's changed her ways. Let's talk about Taylor Swift's turn to feminism, shall we? So around the time of We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, which also marked her shift from pop country to straight pop, like people forget how country she used to be, Pictures to Burn has a friggin' banjo solo and heavily features her ex's pickup truck. Around the time of that musical shift, coincidentally, the backlash about her exes came to a head, which basically brought two options. Either she could claim she turned over a new leaf and start donning a purity ring, or she could declare herself a feminist and shame everyone who slut-shamed her. Frankly, I'm glad she chose the latter. When I was a kid, there were a lot of tween pop stars who had purity rings, and it was really weird, because that's not a thing where I'm from. But let's talk about feminist taste whistle, because that's where the criticisms get a little bit more muddled, shall we say? Two of her more recent songs come under fire for cultural appropriation, the first being 2014's Shake It Off. The argument often marshaled against Shake It Off is that the Scene's music video where she struggles to dance along with the twerkers and hip-hop dancers is making a mockery of black culture. But she also struggles to dance with ballerinas, modern dancers, techno, etc. Surely holding hip-hop and twerking to the same standards as ballet and modern isn't culturally insensitive, but instead viewing them as on par with more traditional forms of dance? Besides, when Swift tries to twerk, the viewer is not supposed to think, wow, Swift is so hip and urban. Like when, Miley twerks. The other music video is Wildest Dreams, a period piece set in Africa. The music video takes place in a time of African colonialism, and because it's a music video, it doesn't make a critique of the time period. However, there aren't racist depictions of locals or images of Taylor Swift operating a diamond mine. It's just Taylor Swift and some attractive dude filming a movie in the 1940s with images of wildlife intercut. It's really not cultural appropriation per se, more culturally imperialist, which, is not good. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth and generally could have been better, is what I'm saying. When failing to find problems with her music or culturally insensitive music videos, critics often turn to her personal life, or at the very least her public personal life. Some cite her almost entirely white girl posse, but most move on to her Twitter feud with Nicki Minaj, which was such a non-feud. Like, the two of them talked about it like adults, and then Taylor apologized. I don't... Is this what passes for a feud these days? But the real problem with Taylor Swift isn't music videos or Twitter feuds. It's the weak, mainstream, easy to digest feminism that she promotes. Why else would complaints that she isn't enough of an intersectional feminist only come up about her and not other pop stars like Katy Perry or Carly Rae Jepsen? occasionally people hit the nail on the head and call her a white feminist. But I think it's worse than that. She doesn't care enough about feminist issues to be considered a white feminist. Like, at least Lena Dunham talks about abortion and raises money for Planned Parenthood. Taylor Swift still hasn't condemned Trump? No, Taylor Swift is something altogether worse. A pop feminist. Pop feminism, or junk food feminism as I like to call it, is the phenomenon in which female empowerment is used to sell products. So basically, every Dove ad ever. And this advertisement that I find frankly confusing.
I like emojis a lot. They can express how you're feeling.
I like the little poop one. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm feeling like poop.
They're all mainly pink. Or, yeah, that's pretty much it. They're pink or like a girl.
There's no girls in the profession emojis, unless you count being a bride a profession.
I've got rock climbing, biking, playing basketball, and the girls are doing this.
What's the deal in that? Why not girls?
Except for the surfer, that one's a girl. Nope, it's just a guy with long hair.
Girls love emojis, but there aren't enough emojis to say what girls do. That's just how things are.
What? Huh? Who cares about emoji representation? No, seriously, who? By the way, that was an ad for menstrual products? Taylor Swift is like that. She doesn't really talk about feminism except for when she's winning awards or making a music video with a lot of famous ladies in it. She doesn't make music or even really talk about serious issues. Not even just the issues that affect her. Okay, so important sidebar thingy. So some things happened while I was like making this video that I need to talk about, otherwise I'm gonna get like a lot of comments about the whole incident. So, very recently, Taylor Swift was sued by a radio DJ because he grabbed her ass and then she told her manager who told his boss, and then he got fired for grabbing her ass, but also some other things, allegedly. And he's like, I didn't grab your ass, this is BS, except for the fact that, like, there's a freaking photograph, and there were witnesses, and, like, it's a BS case, and she won, for obvious reasons. But yeah, so recently there's been a lot of coverage of that, and she's very much like, I'm doing this for all the victims who stayed silent, and also she gave a lot of money to various sexual assault charities, which is really great, and I really hope she does more things like this, but this is still an outlier and not the general progression of Taylor Swift's actions up until now. And also, it's kind of upsetting that we live in a time and place where saying that touching people without their consent is bad, is like a radical feminist idea. That, like, that makes you, like, oh, girl power feminist, like, why? And, like, I'm not gonna say that it isn't the time and place we live in, but it is, and I hate it. End of sidebar. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. She's feminism without having to deal with any real problems or controversy. Taylor Swift's feminism, like everything else about her, is clearly catered to her audience and deliberately manufactured. And while this is clearly not a good thing, it's easy to pass this off as not necessarily a bad thing. Hear me out. The problem with always ads is it makes it seem as though feminism has nothing better to complain about than emoji representation. And the problem with Lena Dunham is that she's basically a left-wing Ann Coulter. Except she also outrages the left. So she's basically a perfect storm of outrage is what I'm saying. by comparison, Taylor Swift is practically inoffensive. Please note that she's still pretty problematic and by no means should be a feminist icon. That's okay, let's talk about something that could have easily been pop feminism. Teen Vogue. Teen Vogue recently caused some controversy when they ran an article about anal sex. It was a relatively tame guide to safe sex. This was very upsetting.
I cannot believe what this Teen Vogue piece of trash has printed in its June edition. They are teaching children 11 through 17, that's the target audience of this magazine, Teen Vogue, children 11 through 17, how to be safely sodomized. Yes, they are teaching kids how to have anal intercourse. We should not be teaching children, period, how to have sex.
Look at what's in this magazine for teenagers. Teaching kids how to masturbate here, all about homosexual sex, gender fluidity.
Here's the thing. Teen Vogue is still a fashion magazine. It's just also feminist. To quote the editor,
and so to tell a teenager that she should stick to lip gloss when she's being directly impacted by the policies and they're directly affecting her lifestyle and the lifestyle of those around her is frankly irresponsible. And we want to make sure that we have space to show her.
Why can't this be true of Taylor Swift? No, seriously, in a day and age where of feminist comedic television in the vein of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend that's fun and lighthearted, but also excellent commentary, why can't we just have an actually feminist Taylor Swift? Hell, there's a satirical Twitter dedicated to rewriting her lyrics. The real problem is that it's harder. I mean, why else would Teen Vogue have reduced their release schedule to quarterly? It's hard to make a tight political argument, and it's even harder in the course of a song. I mean, yeah, Rachel Bloom can do it, but she's a comedian. And you also have the problem of whenever you say anything political, it opens you up to so much criticism and trolls. So many goddamn trolls. Basically what I'm saying is, I really wish Taylor Swift could be more political. But I know that at the end of the day, she's a mainstream pop star, and she doesn't want to alienate anyone who could possibly buy her music. So, in the meantime, she's kind of neutral. She's not Lena Dunham, she's not Amy Schumer. She's just a pretty pop star who tells young girls to become feminists. And there are worse things out there.
So I just want to promote a little band called The Regrets. They're feminist punk rock, and it's fantastic. They're basically what I wish Taylor Swift was. Go check them out. As usual, like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheMuseSappho, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. Sorry this video was late. Bye.